și bine ați venit la o nouă ediție ZF AGROPOWER. Numele meu este Mădălina Dediu și în cadrul emisiunii de astăzi vom discuta mai întâi despre producția de semințe și despre cum arată anul agricol 2022-2023 cu Remi Dei-Tos, directorul stației de producție și procesare a semințelor Sinești, parte a Bayer România. Iar mai apoi, în a doua parte a emisiunii, vom povesti cu Ionuț Popa, cofondator al Pui de Drag, despre ce planuri de dezvoltare are pentru brandul de lactate din lapte de capră. Așadar, vom începe prima parte a discuției, care va avea loc în limba engleză, cu Remi Dei-Tos, directorul stației Sinești a Bayer România. Good morning!
Bună ziua!
Bună ziua! Thank you for accepting our invitation.
My pleasure.
Let's talk a bit about you and about your experience in Romania. Since when you are working for Bayer and for the Sinești site?
Okay, so I joined Bayer in 2011, long time ago, as an agronomic engineer, producing seeds in the field in France. I had also other roles as launching a new plant in France. And before arriving in 2021 in Romania, I was the managing director in Ukraine to launch also one of our biggest sites there during 4 years. And since 2021, July, I am enjoying and developing the business with the team in Sinești.
And how important is Sinești site for Bayer business in Romania and in the region?
Yeah, so Sinești is part of a network of 6 row crop seed site in Bayer in EME, Europe, Middle East, and Sinești is the biggest one in terms of volume of production in the field and also in the bagging.
And at Sinești you are producing corn
yeah,
seeds.
We are producing only corn. We are not producing other seeds. So we are really focused on producing seed corn that we are exporting. So we are serving, of course, the Romanian market, around 40%. And 60% of our volumes is exported within 25 countries. So that's what our scope of influence.
And what is the biggest market for export of?
We have Serbia, Croatia, we have France, Italy, Hungary, Poland. These are the main countries where we are exporting, let's say, in proportion.
Let's talk a bit about the land. Do you have your own land or you are working with farmers for...
Yeah, so we are going into this model, meaning that we are contacting farmers and we are contracting with them. And so we have an agreement, a contract agreement. We are using their land. They are helping us for some soil preparation, for also the irrigation. But after, we are in charge of all the different activities that are related to the seed production, such as the planting, the detasseling of the corn, the harvest. So all of this is really managed by us, but it's not our land. It's we are contracting with farmers.
And how big is this land that you are working in Romania?
So it changed from year to year, depending on the demand on the market. Demand not only in Romania, but as I said, because we are exporting, it's really the regional demand. So we are fluctuating between 8,000 and 10,000 hectares of corn production.
In all over the country, or you have a region where
we are mainly focused in the southeast region, let's say from Galați to Calaraș and Constanța, this triangle. This is the main area where we are working. We are also working a bit in Dolj County, but let's say 80 to 90% is in the region of the southeast of Romania.
You said earlier about the demand. How was the demand for corn seeds in the last 2-3 years?
So the demand changed a bit. We faced a decrease, a bit of a decrease, to be honest, because you might know that the context, the economical context is a bit is really fluctuating a lot. It means that 2 years ago we were having commodity corn price that was very high, so the demand was very high to continue producing corn, but we had a collapse of this price. This year the price is really much lower than what we had 2 years ago, and on top of that we saw that the inputs such as the fertilizers, the chemicals, the price increase, and especially in Romania the farmers faced a drought, so they preferred to orientate themselves to crops that are not demanding very high irrigation. So that's why the demand for corn slightly decreased. After a peak, we had a decrease, and we are adapting. So each year we have this that is fluctuating, and we are trying to match the demand and the number of hectares of production. So that's how we are working.
And how looks like the production this year?
So this year, what is good is that we had a very good implementation phase. It means the month from April till May were quite good to make a good planting. So it means that the crops were absolutely beautiful until, let's say, June, beginning of July. And what was difficult this year is that we had peak of temperature. And this peak of temperature got an impact on the viability of the pollen that will fecundate and make the seeds. So that's why we had some corn that are absolutely amazing, some others that suffered a bit. But overall, let's say that we have a quite good year, especially by the fact that this year we had no lack of water supply. So the Danube, the level of Danube, that is our main supplier of water, was very high, was very good. So that's why we have been able to maintain our crops green and healthy. So this year should be a quite good year. Yeah.
And the main challenges this year?
So the main challenges, as I said, what happened is that we are planting in April, April 23. What will be sold in from October 23 till, let's say, April 24. What we saw during the winter is that last year was very dry and with a big drought. So the growers, the farmers, reorientate their surface of production more to wheat or to sunflower, to crops that are not demanding a lot of water. So that's why it was complex for us to convince them to continue producing corn for us, because they were not convinced to go into this direction. But overall, we really managed. We have an attractive contract. We are supportive with a lot of different technologies, and they appreciate that. So that's why we managed to have anyway good contracting for us as seed production. So that was the challenge. Also, we had a new law that is convincing farmers to go for around 10% of their surface planted in leguminous. So this was not the case before. Usually this surface was allocated to corn, and when they saw that they can have good premium by going into this direction, they preferred to decrease the surface of corn. So this also was a challenge, but somehow it's also very positive, because what we see, and especially in Bayer, we are promoting crop rotation. We know that for example, having a soybean as a precedent crop, when you go after soybean and you plant corn, you have excellent yield. So it really goes into sustainable agriculture, regenerative agriculture. So that's why it was a challenge at the moment to find a surface, but we will see the benefits in the future. So that's in a nutshell what was the complexity for us this year.
So it wasn't so bad that the farmers tried to.
No. It was not so bad, and even for us in seed production, I'm not talking on the commercial side, but for the seed production, we even received good solicitation from new farmers. So we have been able to launch new farmers with us and so on. So the dynamic was pretty good. So that's why we are quite happy about how we have been able to launch the season overall.
Did you make a plan for the next season?
So yeah, we are already working for next year. So we are building our plan for next year based on the forecast of the sales. So the commercial guys are coming to us and saying, look, this is the potential demand. This is a big assumption. The accuracy is not that good, but the demand should look like this. So in order to match the demand, your surface of production should look like this. So we are already having visibility. So for the moment, we should be stable. That's the point. Maybe a slight decrease, but it's not yet sure. What is happening is that we have the commodity pricing of corn that is a bit lowering, and it means that the profitability of corn for the farmers is a bit less attractive versus other crops. So that's why they might change a bit their surface of production, not going directly to corn, but maybe diversifying and going to other crops. So that's why for the moment, let's say we are stable. We might have a very small decrease, but for the moment is not so significant.
Remi, tell me a little bit about the team there in Sinești. How big is the team?
So the team is, we have in fact two population of employees. We have the permanent employees that are having a Bayer contract and working for us. And we have 106 employees permanent. And we have very important team that is the seasonal team that is coming to help us in the plant from August until March, and it is very important, and we have around 360 employees. So in total we are close to 500 at peak of the season, 500 people on site working for producing seeds, corn seeds. Also related to the permanent team, we have 4 main departments. We have the field team that is really there to work on giving agricultural advices to our farmers and in order to really produce seeds in the best condition possible. We have the plant team that is really focused on processing the corn and transforming the corn from the field into the finished product in the bag. The maintenance team that is there, of course, to maintain all our equipment to be up and running and having no stop. And the logistic warehouse and logistic team that is really important as well in order to be able to distribute our products to the customers. So this is the 4 main teams that are operating on site.
So it's a big team there in Sinești.
Yeah. Big team with a lot of challenges, but also a lot of fun. Yeah. It's a very large team.
Remi, let's talk a little bit about the climate change, because the agriculture is the main sector that is impacted by this climate change. How impacted this your business in Romania in the last years?
So I already briefly mentioned about the fact that last year we had a drought. This year we have a very high peak of temperature. 3 years ago we had flooding during June and then high temperature as well during the summer. So definitely the climate change going for something more extreme for the rainfall, but as well for the heat and the drought. This is a complexity. It's a complexity because when a farmer wants, I don't know, let's take an example, 1,000 bags of the hybrid X, he wants to have 1,000 bags of hybrid X. It means that we need to supply 1,000 bags to hybrid X. And all these parameters, weather impact, is that we are more and more exposed to a very big deviation of production. And this is the difficulty in our day-to-day life in the field production, essentially. So how we are trying to be more stable in how we are producing and supplying our farmers, our customers. First, we are trying to find the area by having some tools of climatic tools that are making predictions, helping us to say, if you produce here, you will have less risk of having heat or drought or flooding. So we are using these tools to help us to go into the area that are a bit less risky. As well, we are trying to place the hybrid that will be supporting the specific climate in this area. So we are really trying to match the hybrid to the pedoclimatic conditions. So this is really important. It helps to be more stable. And as well, we are using a lot of digital tools in the precision agriculture to really try to optimize the potential of our fields. And like this, we try to apply the water at the right moment, at the right quantity to really supply the plant perfectly and correctly. The same with fertilizer, the same with the plant population. So we are trying to be more accurate in the way we are producing, and we are trying to go to area where we have less risk of production. If I summarize the general strategy, this is the two main pillars.
But the Romanian farmers invest also in irrigation systems?
Yeah, so they are also investing. We are also supporting in this kind of investment. It is something that is really important. If I remember well, having conversation with my colleagues, they were telling me that in the past, so we have 9 million million hectares of arable land in Romania. In the past, around 2.5 million were irrigated. Now we have only 1 million. And they all see it as a lack of increase of risk and lack of competitivity in the European market. So definitely now they understand that they need to invest. And we have a lot of farmers that are ready to invest. We are also supporting these initiatives because definitely we see that it is going in the right direction to have seed production stable, but also all the other production, not only for seeds. So that's what we are really trying to promote.
But how you support the farmers to invest in the new technologies in irrigation system and also in new way to make agriculture? Because we talk more about regenerative agriculture.
Yeah.
How do you help the farmers to understand the need of better product?
So for me, first of all, regenerative agriculture is really the start, especially in Romania. We are really at the very, very beginning of this kind of long-term vision. But farmers, I'm sure they will go into this direction. We are more on the sustainable agriculture for the moment, meaning how we can produce more with less. This is clearly a point that the farmers are understanding. They are understanding, some of them by conviction that it will be good for the environment, but most of them by the fact that if they use less, meaning less fertilizer, less water, or having less work on the ground by plowing, that is consuming a lot of fuel, if they manage to reduce these, meaning fuel, fertilizer, water, electricity, they will reduce their cost of production and they will increase their margin. So financially, they understood that they need to optimize their way of production, and they understood that if we come with some technologies to support them, and we have the technologies, in the market it's called field view, but we are using the same type of methodology in the seed production. They understand that it is for their benefits as well. What we see in seed production is that if we come with these digital tools, we will be able to be more sustainable for the environment, but also we will be able to produce with better predictability, and then they are seeing that their cost of production will decrease, so for the same yield, they will have much more money. So at the end, they see that it's a kind of a win-win solution, and that's why they have a pretty good adhesion.
So they understand the need of...
Yes, they understand the need of the sustainable agriculture. Also, on top of that, what we are doing and trying to promote in seed production is about crop rotation. I remember that when I arrived, we were discussing with the team and they were saying, it's 10 years that we are making corn in this field. And I was like, why? It should not be like this, because the soil is getting, let's say, poorer and poorer, because the corn has been absorbing everything, and normally you need to have rotation. And step by step, and also including into our contract, we put in place some premium to encourage the growers to make crop rotation, and they saw the benefits in the yield as well, because if you are not corn after corn after corn, but you put some soybean or some other crops, they see that the yield is better. So that's why, by encouraging with a financial premium and also seeing that they have a higher yield, they go into this direction as well. So it's something that is very positive as well. And we are really happy that they understood it and they can see it clearly. And as well, what we are doing is that we are encouraging more and more to have during winter some soil coverage with some crops that will just cover the soil during the winter. Some of them start, so it's really the beginning. It takes time. In agriculture, everything takes time. The momentum is big, but definitely I see that they will go into this direction. But we are at the very beginning for this.
But it's not difficult to change the production. 2 years to have corn and in another year to have other crop, to find new clients, let's say.
So it is. The difficulty comes from, and we go back to the same point we discussed before, about the capacity of irrigation. It means that a farmer might have 500 hectares, but maybe only 200 are under irrigation. And it means that he has only a potential of 200 hectares where he can produce seed corn, and he can eventually continue this type of production. If we come and we say, hey, Mr. Farmer, we would like to have a rotation instead of making corn, corn, it means that he will not be able to put corn where it is not irrigated. So it might reduce a bit the seed production surface, but he understood that on the mid to long term, it will be very positive for him. And we go back to the same point of lacking irrigation capacity. And that's why the farmers understood that. That's why they are investing. And instead of having only 30% of their full surface under irrigation, some of them try to increase in order to have better rotation and to have possibility to produce more corn or soybean also that likes irrigation very much. So this kind of thing.
So you work also with small farmers? Or?
Yeah. Yeah. So we have every size of farmers. Of course, we have really big farmers that are having thousands of hectares, but we have also farmers that are much more smaller with 150, maximum 200, and it is something that is also part of our portfolio. We are convinced that having a diverse partners of production will help us to also diversify the location of production, and we will be able to match the problem of climate change. If we say, okay, Bayer wants to produce with only 2 growers, and these 2 growers, they have farm only in 1 plot, and you have in this plot hail or flooding or very big drought in this region, at the end, you are losing all your potential of production. If you have a bit with these big growers, but also with small and medium growers, but a bit everywhere in the country, it is how you are splitting your risk, and you are able to being quite stable in the way of supplying the farmers in the next year by having a stable production.
But what problem do you think that is the main of Romania agriculture sector?
big question. What I see is that farmers, they want to increase irrigated land, and potentially the supply of water is not that easy. It's only through the Danube. You need to consider irrigation with three points. The irrigation with a big I. You have access to the water, equipment to apply the water, and how you are managing your irrigation, meaning how much you irrigate, when is it adapted to the need of the plant, and so on. So these are the three main pillars. The farmers are ready to invest into equipment to irrigate. Us, we are coming with the technologies to help to optimize the irrigation and to really apply the water at the right moment, at the right quantity. But what I see is that sometimes the access to the water is not that easy. And each time I'm discussing with the team or with my colleagues in commercial, they are saying that there is one canal, if I remember well the name, it's Siret Baragan, that has not been finished. And they said if this would be finished, it could unlock a lot of potential in many areas in order to really continue producing more corn, but not only, also other crops. And I see that this is a blocker a bit in developing agriculture in Romania. After, in terms of market, I would say that in corn, but also in wheat, what I see is that not 100% of the commodity corn or the commodity wheat that is planted is coming from certified seeds. It means that the farmers, they are trying to produce their own seeds that has less potential in terms of yield, but it's costing much less than if they are buying it from us or from the competitors. What I see is that if we continue accepting these farm seeds, it means that the seed market will not grow. And if the seed market not grows, potentially it means that the hybrids that will be planted will not give a big yield. So Romania will still maintain their yield, not very high. If I describe, for example, for corn, you have 2.5 million of hectares of corn in Romania. 75% is with certified seeds, 25% with farm seeds. And what is the yield produced with certified seeds is really much higher than the one produced with the farm seeds. And if we manage to have more certified seeds, it means that the total volume of production for Romania in terms of corn will be much higher. And it means that the export will be higher, so the income will be higher. As well, we will have more work to, because more transportation, more labor force in some plants and so on. So it could be really beneficial for the total economy. And what I see so far is that we are still blocked in this proportion, and it means that Romania is also blocked in terms of total volume of corn that they can produce. You have the same phenomenon in wheat as well. So it means that Romania is somehow blocked in terms of volume of export due to this parameter, plus also what we discussed about the possibility to irrigate more land and to have a better yield on irrigated land. So these two factors, if we could increase the total surface irrigated, we could really unlock a lot of potential for the Romanian agriculture. If we could also encourage more to go for certified seeds with very high yield, we could also increase the volume that Romania could produce, and so the export that Romania could produce, could do, and the income that the country could have. This is two big pillars that I see that as very good opportunity for agriculture in Romania.
But how do you see the future? You are optimistic?
Yeah, we need to stay optimistic, first of all. It's clear because we need to adapt. The key point is how are we adapting? We need to adapt to an economical environment that is fluctuating a lot, and we need to see how we can support the farmers, also how we can continue our business into this fluctuating economical environment. And we need as well to adapt to the weather change. It's a huge factor. We discussed briefly about that, but definitely it's a huge point. And if we manage to adapt, and I think solutions are existing, it's a matter of how much we want to go into this direction, at which speed, and how much companies such as Bayer are ready to invest to support the farmers to adapt and to face these two factors. But if all of us, the farmers, plus us, we are ready to make this adaptation, I think that it should be perfectly fine for Romania. The land is very good country for production, in agriculture in general. So there is a lot of potential, and weather will make it more and more difficult. But if we adapting by having more irrigation or making corn in more protected area, and where it's drier to make other crops such as wheat or sunflower. At the end, I am pretty sure that the agriculture in Romania will still be very good, but it will need to adapt.
What are Bayer's plans for Sinești site in the next year? Do you want to increase the production? Do you want to find new countries to export?
So far the idea is that we will be stable, because we have quite also already quite big capacity of production in the site. In the past, we produced even more than 2 million bags with the same equipment. And this year we are a bit lower, so it means that we still have a margin to absorb some increase of volume. So for the moment, the projection are the stability and a slight increase, very slight increase. In the future, what we are thinking is about how we can also change our equipment in order to adapt the equipment to the new system of production in the field. We have some ideas of modernizing in the field or doing another type of seed production. We have some new methodology, and it means that we will have to also adapt in the plant. So the site of Sinești might evolve. We are not thinking about increasing drastically the capacities, but we are thinking of continuing our adaptation to the new way of production, and also trying to be more efficient with more technologies on site and so on. So that's what we are thinking to do. And as I said, in the field as well, we are maintaining our investment year after year about new technologies, the digital farming, satellite imaging, all of this we still continue. It is the way we want to go, and we maintain this.
So you take it step by step.
Yeah. In fact, we have in seed production, you have a mid-term direction or even long-term direction, and then so it gives you the trend, and what you do is that on top of that you adapt to the different market fluctuations. So that's what we are doing, and but the trend is going to producing more sustainable, having regenerative agriculture in the field production, being more efficient in the plant, adapting the plant to the new way of production, and let's say also matching the trend of the demand. This is what we are trying to do for the next 3-5 years. That's the plan.
Thank you very much, Remi,
welcome.
for this discussion. Vă mulțumesc și dumneavoastră că ați urmărit această primă parte a emisiunii ZF AgroPower și vă invit să urmăriți și partea a doua, în care vom discuta cu domnul Ionuț Popa, cofondator al brandului de lactate din lapte de capră, Pui de Drag. ziua, domnule Popa! Mulțumim mult că ați acceptat invitația noastră.
Bună ziua! Mă bucur că m-ați invitat.
Aș vrea să vă rog să-mi povestiți cum ați decis dumneavoastră să înființați o fermă de capre și când ați intrat în acest domeniu.
În 2018 am cumpărat primele căprițe. Eu sunt în domeniul agricol din 2013, dar până în 2018 am lucrat mai mult terenul. Și în 2018 ne-am hotărât să înființăm o fermă de capre.
Erați consumator de lactate de capră, cum v-a venit ideea? Sau pur și simplu ați văzut că există cerere?
La început am vrut să încercăm, am luat mai mult pentru familie, pentru copii, că aveam 2 copilași mici. Și am văzut că ne place și reușim să obținem niște produse de foarte bună calitate și am decis să investim în acest domeniu.
Și cu câte capre ați început și câte aveți acum?
Acum avem în jur de 200. La început, în primă fază, am luat 5 căprițe, după care am tot cumpărat și le-am înmulțit noi. Puiilor tot am extins ferma.
Și vă mai amintiți la început unde vindeați lactatele, vindeați către cunoscuți, apoi cum ați reușit să vă dezvoltați așa, când ați ajuns și la consumatorii mai îndepărtați, să zic așa?
Am început prin a vinde produsele la rude și la cunoștințe, după care am început să ne promovăm pe Facebook, unde clienții ne contactau și noi le livram produsele direct la domiciliu. După care a fost nevoie să creăm un site și în prezent clienții comandă direct de pe site-ul nostru, iar noi le livrăm la domiciliu.
Văd că aveți acolo un logo foarte frumos. Felicitări pentru cine l-a creat. Când a luat naștere, practic, acest brand?
În 2021 am simțit că e nevoie să ne creăm un brand al nostru ca să ne diferențiem în piață și clienții să ne identifice mai ușor. Atunci am colaborat cu cineva care ne-a ajutat să creăm să ne creăm propria identitate.
Voiam să vorbim puțin și despre ce produse realizați și care sunt cele mai vândute, ce își doresc cel mai mult clienții dumneavoastră.
În principal, produsele noastre sunt proaspete, cum ar fi lapte, cașuri, de telemea, iaurt, chefir, cremă de brânză, dar și produse cu termen un pic mai lung, brânză de burduf, cuculețe în ulei de măsline, brânză maturată. Cam astea sunt produsele noastre.
Și clienții le preferă pe cele proaspete?
Dacă ar fi să ne luăm după vânzare, cele proaspete sunt cele mai căutate. Burta, laptele, cașul, crema de brânză.
Dar cum e să fii antreprenor într-un domeniu de nișă? În România se consumă în principal lactate de vacă și mai puțin lactate de capră, dar și acelea sunt importante. Cum e să ai o mică fermă în acest domeniu? Este greu?
Pentru mine până acum a fost așa o provocare continuă, să zic. Dar nu din motive de comercializare a produselor și de a reuși să găsesc resurse pentru a crește afacerea, ținând cont că este o activitate destul de complexă. Noi ne ocupăm de tot lanțul vegetal, zootehnie, procesare, livrare, dar consider că asta ne diferențiază în piață și din acest motiv vom continua așa. Chiar dacă la început părea cam imposibil să reușim.
Spuneți că a fost o provocare să vă dezvoltați. Vă referiți la faptul că nu ați reușit să luați fonduri pentru dezvoltare? Cum ați reușit să vă dezvoltați până astăzi?
Până în prezent nu am reușit să obținem fonduri europene, dar chiar acum lucrăm pentru a depune un proiect care ne va ajuta să dezvoltăm foarte mult ferma. Și provocările au fost, da, și din aspecte financiare, pentru că a trebuit să găsim tot timpul resurse pentru a investi și a crește. Și a trebuit să și învățăm în același timp să obținem niște produse de calitate, să ne construim o echipă care să ne ajute. Cam astea au fost provocările.
Apropo de echipă și de produse, ați creat singuri aceste rețetele pentru aceste produse, având în vedere că nu aveați experiență în producția de alimente, de brânzeturi, de lactate, ci pur și simplu activați în domeniul agricol fără a avea vreo experiență în acest domeniu al producției.
Da, am creat singuri. Mi-am mai și inspirat. Am testat foarte multe rețete, variante, până ce am ajuns la produsele care le avem acum și am testat și clienții, adică am avut mult mai multe produse pe care, în funcție de feedback-ul clientului, am renunțat la ele. Și am rămas doar cele care sunt cele mai apreciate și credem noi că sunt de calitate și gustoase.
Ați depășit granița Iașiului. Acum am văzut pe site-ul dumneavoastră că vă putem găsi produsele și în Băcănii din Timișoara, din București, din Râmnicu Vâlcea. A fost greu să găsiți clienți din zonele astea, să intrați în aceste băcănii și în mici magazine?
Pentru noi nu a fost o prioritate să intrăm în magazine. Noi încă de la început am vrut să ne orientăm spre clientul final și am învățat de la început cum ne putem promova și cum putem ajunge la ei. Dar totuși am considerat că este bine să avem produse și în anumite magazine, pentru că sunt unii clienți care preferă să meargă la magazin, să cumpere sau nu au posibilitatea să primească comanda noastră, nu sunt acasă sau... Și atunci am fost mai mult contactați de anumite magazine cu care colaborăm astăzi. Nu a fost foarte greu.
Dar cum distribuiți produsele în țară? Aveți propriile mașini de transport?
În Iași livrăm noi, avem distribuție, dar ca și soluție în alte orașe am găsit, folosim niște cutii speciale care au rezervă de frig și ele pleacă seara de la noi și ajung a doua zi dimineață până la ora 12 și se întorc după aia înapoi la noi după ce curierul predă produsele. În acest fel, produsele ajung în condiții foarte bune. Dar pe viitor intenționăm să avem noi, odată cu creșterea producției, să avem distribuții în toate orașele.
Acum piața din Iași este cea mai importantă pentru dumneavoastră, nu?
Da, dar anul acesta a devenit, adică undeva la 60%, 70% trimitem în țară. Și diferența în Iași. Distribuim în Iași.
Deci ați reușit să vă dezvoltați la nivel național.
Da, timp să așa.
Dar cum e afacerea în domeniul ăsta? Aveți o bază de clienți fideli?
Da, avem clienți care încă de la început comandă constant de la noi și sunt clienții noștri fideli, dar constant ne vin clienți noi și tot crește numărul clienților fideli.
Dar ce ați observat în ultimii ani de când v-ați dezvoltat pe această piață? Crește consumul de lactate din lapte de capră?
Da, noi considerăm că este o piață în creștere, cel puțin așa simțim noi. Tot mai mulți clienți își doresc să consume produse de calitate și sunt în căutarea acestor produse de la producători mai mici care nu folosesc anumite adaosuri, să zic așa, pentru a le prelungi termenul sau pentru a le da un gust diferit.
Că tot vorbeam despre consum, cam toată lumea vorbește în perioada asta de o încetinire a consumului, adică de faptul că mulți consumatori se uită foarte atent la ce cheltuie și la cum cheltuie. A simțit anul ăsta o reducere sau o mai mare atenție a clienților la cât cheltuie?
Da, cred că a crescut atenția clientului asupra cât cheltuie. Din ce am observat noi, clienții noștri fideli, la un moment dat am fost și noi nevoiți să creștem un pic prețul, dar nu s-a simțit vreo diferență, adică nu au fost clienți care să renunțe pentru că am crescut un pic prețul, să renunțe la achiziționarea de la noi, de a cumpăra de la noi produsele. Noi cel puțin nu am simțit vreo diferență, să zic așa.
Dar concurența cum e pe această piață?
Noi fiind un producător mic și neavând produse în marele magazine, pentru noi considerăm că nu există o concurență așa de mare. Nu am simțit asta. Nu prea sunt așa mulți producători de produse din lapte de capră. Și consider că piața este în creștere și cu siguranță vor apărea mai mulți producători.
Dar vorbeați mai devreme de marile lanțuri. Ce planuri de dezvoltare aveți? Vreți să intrați, nu știu, poate în niște magazine locale din Iași sau în țară? Este asta o țintă pentru dumneavoastră sau vreți să continuați așa cu livrări în țară, în locațiile unde sunteți prezenți și în Iași, bineînțeles?
Momentan, chiar dacă am vrea să intrăm în magazine mai mari, nu am avea producții. Nu am putea satisface, adică nu am putea livra o producție constantă, nu avem, fiind producția destul de mică, dar dacă vom reuși să obținem finanțare pentru proiectul care dorim să-l depunem, va fi nevoie să intrăm și în marele magazine. Ne dorim ca și planuri să dezvoltăm, să creștem numărul de capre cu încă 500 și să construim un spațiu de procesare cu toate echipamentele necesare pentru a reuși să procesăm tot laptele pe care o să-l obținem. Și atunci va fi nevoie să intrăm și în magazine mai mari pentru a putea vinde toată producția.
Și ați făcut un calcul cam de ce sumă ați avea nevoie pentru a crește numărul de capre și a face această linie de producție?
După cum vă spuneam, intenționăm să depunem un proiect și dacă vom reuși, vom construi un garaj pentru încă 500 de capre și un spațiu de procesare modern cu toate utilajele de care avem nevoie pentru a putea procesa tot laptele pe care să-l producem. Proiectul va fi în valoare de 2 milioane de euro.
Și către cine l-ați depus sau îl veți depune?
În prezent colaborăm cu o firmă de consultanță și abia s-au publicat ghidurile în consultare publică și când se vor publica ghidurile finale vom depune proiectul.
Întorcându-ne puțin la partea de zootehnie, e greu să ai o fermă de capre? Pe dumneavoastră cine vă ajută?
Este destul de provocator, să zic așa. Noi avem în prezent 7 angajați care ne ajută și momentan reușim să facem față. Dar avem și foarte multe satisfacții care ne ajută să continuăm activitatea.
Și hrana pentru capre o luați din ferma proprie, nu? Spuneați că lucrați o suprafață de terenuri.
Da, avem 90 de hectare pe care le cultivăm cu cernă și cereale și toată hrana ne o procurăm singuri pentru capre.
Asta e un lucru bun pentru că nu mai aveți fluctuații de preț la hrană.
Da, dar și putem menține controlul, adică ne putem produce o hrană de calitate și credem că asta ne diferențiază, adică ne ajută foarte mult.
Domnule Popa, pentru că ne apropiem de final, aș vrea să vă întreb cum vedeți în 5 ani brandul Pui de Drag?
În 5 ani cred că vom reuși să creștem foarte mult și să ajungem la tot mai mulți clienți cu produsele noastre și consider că va fi un brand de succes în România.
Vă urăm mult succes și sper să vi se îndeplinească toate proiectele, să puteți să obțineți și acea finanțare de 2 milioane de euro pentru a crește.
Mulțumesc foarte mult!
Vă mulțumesc și dumneavoastră că ați urmărit ediția de astăzi a ZF AGROPOWER și vă invit să citiți știri despre agribusinessul local pe zf.ro și în ediția print a ziarului financiar. Numai bine!